This is Weather or Not.
All right, it is Wednesday, halfway through the week here, and plenty to talk about, some local weather to talk about, but obviously the big attention continues to be on a couple of different episodes of flooding across the country over the last week.
Yeah, it's certainly been a busy week for sure. Let's start here locally at first. One of those being Chantal, of course, after the storm, but giving you the first alert during that 4th of July. But how about 3 people being rescued from Chantal's floods? This is over in Moore County, North Carolina. Heavy rain caused floods there. Crews rescued 3 drivers Sunday from the flooded roads. This was just outside Fayetteville. Let's take you over to Durham County because firefighters also rescuing people, 80 people from their homes as a river rose there in North Carolina, Jamie.
Yeah.
22 feet.
Yeah, incredible flooding there. Again, this was all from Chantal. Not much of a storm here, but as it moved inland into North Carolina there, the rain really started dumping down, around a foot of rain coming down in parts of Durham County there, including Chapel Hill. The Chapel Hill area over towards Aberdeen, North Carolina, hit particularly hard from that flooding, and still a lot of efforts being undergone there. A lot of roads still closed, a lot of damage. I was looking at some pictures from NCDOT this morning with a lot of bridges still washed out.
Yeah, certainly flooding a big concern. Let's take you over to the other concern was tornadoes up in eastern North Carolina. Chantal produced a tornado near Wilmington. This was an EF0 tornado, but when we were covering this storm, we kind of were able to tell, hey, eastern North Carolina is going to be the big area to watch.
Yeah, thankfully we missed out on that tornado threat. It stayed just off to our north, just there across the border with, again, that EF tornado near the airport in Wilmington. A couple of other tornadoes also confirmed up around the Raleigh area.
Yeah, and certainly between tornadoes and flooding, finally we'll take you here to where some even had a kind of kayak. This was because of the Hall River. They evacuated just in time. The water was continuing to rise basically from all the rain, and it was the northeast quadrant, if you will, just above the circulation, that brought some serious totals into North Carolina.
Yeah, and then it also kind of slowed down its forward speed there as it was working its way through that part of North Carolina, and just really allowed that rain to dump. And of course, all of that flash flooding leads to river flooding with the record crest there at the Hall River. That crest actually beat out what was set from Hurricane Fran back in 1996, which was kind of the benchmark storm there along the Hall River.
It's really good to show, as we showed the Chantal VO and video, that it doesn't take a hurricane for significant impacts. This was the view there, Cherry Grove Pier, right?
Yeah, I shot that video.
How about that?
Yeah, that was Saturday night. That was we were out there live for the 11 o'clock newscast, and yeah, it was blowing pretty good by tropical storm standards. It was a decent one, especially across the Grand Strand. Some of the highest winds coming in from Myrtle Beach northward up into North Myrtle Beach. Had that 56-mile-per-hour gust there at Spring-Made Pier, and yeah, got down there on Ocean Boulevard. It looked like a bona fide storm.
Certainly did. The rainfall, about 2 to 5 inches of rain here locally. Some of you less than that, all depending on what side of Chantal you were from. So Chantal, one story obviously we'll focus on for North Carolina as we go throughout the week with the flooding efforts. But the big story nationally, yeah, it's Texas, and it is just a catastrophe. 100 plus dead now, at least, keyword, at least 160 missing from the floods. This disaster started on Friday when heavy rain caused the Guadalupe River to rise more than 20 feet in less than 2 hours. Kerr County is reporting most of those deaths, including dozens of children staying at a camp. That camp, Camp Mystic, and really, all things considered, just an unfortunate, scary situation that, you know, this area's had a history of it for sure.
Yeah, this area has a long history, unfortunately, of dealing with flash flooding. You've probably heard it often called the Texas Hill Country. It's also sort of in the meteorological community known as Flash Flood Alley. It's very hilly. It's generally kind of dry, but they do occasionally get big time rainfall there, and that can lead to the significant flash flooding. Let's jump into some of the stats here that we've been looking at, and let's also sort of try to take care of some of the myths that have been out there. Let's kind of talk about that warning process. The National Weather Service office in Austin, San Antonio, Texas is the one responsible for the area of coverage there that picked up that flooding. A day before, 1:18 in the afternoon, they issued that flash flood watch, indicating 7 to 10 inches of rain would be possible. Fast forward to 1:14 Friday morning, flash flood warning was issued, including the potential for life-threatening flash flooding of creeks and rivers. And then finally, the ultimate in flood advisories, the flash flood emergency. Those are really rare. That came down at 5:34, and the Weather Service called it a particularly dangerous, life-threatening situation with flooding underway, with the Guadalupe River reaching major flood stage. They were staffed. They had extra meteorologists on staff there at that Weather Service office.
Yeah, and just a great job with the National Weather Service. It's so hard to say that. I know some people are saying, great job. It's just a catastrophe. It's a natural disaster.
Yeah.
They did all they could. We're going to break that down and the social science of it on a brand new episode of Are You Serious? But this is an area that's no stranger to these type of events.
Yeah, not at all. Let's take you to the Guadalupe River there at Kerrville, Texas, which is right at the heart of where all of this disaster is unfolding. Notice the crest there on that river from the recent flash flooding, coming in at 34.3 feet on the early mornings of July 4th, 1987. That same river in that same spot made it to almost 38 feet, and the highest crest on that river on record was from 1932 at 39 feet. So again, this river is known for having some very, very violent flash floods. Texas, also known for getting big rain from the remnants of tropical systems.
Yeah, just one of those that, look at the totals. 43 there in Alvin, Texas.
That
43.
And that was in 24 hours. For a very long time, I think until 18 or 19, that was the world record for the most rain to fall in a 24-hour period in the world. And that was from the leftovers of Tropical Storm Claudette.
And Texas, we talk about leftover tropical moisture. This is basically what this was, a result of what was left over from Barry. You had a weird and dynamic setup. In some instances, and I've seen Texans even say this, the last time they've seen anything eerily similar was Hurricane Harvey back in 2017.
Yeah, which was 60 inches that came down over the course of a 5-day period. You can see the rainfall totals from this event. They're from Liberty Hills to Marble Falls down to Wall, Texas. We're generally between about 18 to 20 inches. The bad thing, what made this so bad, was one, the timing, a holiday weekend. Two, the timing in the middle of the night where people were sleeping and unfortunately didn't really get many of the warnings that were issued. And of course, the location of that heaviest rain just happened to fall in a location that would send all of that water into the river, which led to the issues there in and around Kerrville in the Mystic Camp.
Yeah, we're no strangers to when it comes to flooding, especially with Hurricane Florence and stuff and stories here. Keep in mind, in the hill country, all that water's got to go somewhere.
Yeah.
That's where this disaster comes. Of course, we'll keep you posted on that. Unfortunately, that's not the only disaster that we're talking about. Another disaster taking place in New Mexico. Take a look at this. Deadly flash flooding now, as deaths are now being reported, washing away an entire house. The cell phone video captured the moment Tuesday there in Ruidoso. The town's mayor also reported mudslides, multiple bridges underwater, gas leaks in the home, washed away. Slow-moving thunderstorms are to blame, causing a nearby river to rise 18 feet in 30 minutes. Another area that is prone to flash flooding.
Yeah, this video is eerily similar to what came out of that same town 2 or 3 years ago, I think it was. Had a major flash flood event there in Ruidoso, New Mexico. Also making this issue worse was the fact that just a year ago, that same area was dealing with a major wildfire. Anytime you get big time rain on a wildfire scar, the soil has a really hard time soaking up any of that. It tends to repel the water. So you get big rains on a fire scar in a mountainous area, and all of that water goes down to the creeks and the rivers, and you get what you saw there.
Yeah, certainly thinking of those in Texas and New Mexico. Of course, like we said, we'll keep you posted here on whether or not with the latest coming out of there. Let's talk our forecast.
Yeah.
back to the same, honestly, worse, if you want to say it, all because of Chantal.
Yeah, it brought in its big envelope, big bubble of tropical humidity with it over the weekend. Chantal left. The extreme humidity has stuck around, and we're going to be with it here as we head through the rest of the week. This is that time of the year where the muggy meter barely budges. It's either going to be steamy or miserable. Take your pick.
Yeah, I posted yesterday the classic glasses fogged up.
Yep.
Condensation on the glasses as you're getting out. That usually tells me when it's there, and I think we're there for good until at least the end of August, early September. Mugginess going to be around, and with that mugginess, going to be bringing in the chance of showers and storms. This is a tricky forecast because there's going to be some days that overperform.
Yeah.
And there's going to be some days that underperform, and I say that because it's typically what's going to be the trigger to set it off. We got plenty of energy to work with.
Plenty of energy in the form of heat and humidity, but like you said, what's going to set it off? Some days it may be the sea breeze. Some days it may be some offshore action in the morning. Some days it may be more inland. I'm still thinking tomorrow, Thursday, is kind of the best day for all of us. But the way I like to look at a forecast like this, where we got those rain chances at 40, 60%, take that 7-day forecast. It may rain at your house 1 or 2 out of those days. Kind of a good way to look at it. You're going to get hit some days, you're going to get missed the others.
And any days that do have showers and storms, I can promise you there will be heavy downpours.
Yes.
And some frequent lightning.
A lot of
Don't
lightning.
cancel your plans.
Yeah.
By any means.
Yeah.
All right, let's go coast to coast. Let's start with some temperature extremes, shall we? And we look at yesterday's extremes. Shocker. We knew it.
Yep.
Death Valley, California, 118. Just when you thought it was hot here, go out to the California Death Valley.
I'm bored with these. Let's move on until we get some new stuff.
Oh, Peter.
Some new stuff showing up. Let's take you Thursday here across the southeast and watch how it's kind of quiet in the morning. And then as you get past lunchtime into the afternoon, there they go. Bubble, bubble, bubble. Showers and storms begin to develop. And again, that's when we have our best chance here locally. But anywhere across the southeast this time of the year, you are fair game for an afternoon storm.
Yeah, look at the temperatures. 92 in Tampa, 94 in Fort Myers. You'll look at those 80s and 90s from Jackson to Birmingham, Atlanta, hot Atlanta, if you want to call it that. Yeah, you're looking at plenty of warmth. We'll take you up to the northeast where, leftover showers and storms continuing for tomorrow morning. You'll have a weak little system, low pressure up to your north across Canada. That's going to be bringing in, guess what, more afternoon pop-up showers and storms. The heaviest stuff will be out of there. Temperatures, though, compared to what we're dealing with, I'll take it. 70s and 80s.
Man, look at that high temperature in Boston tomorrow, 69 degrees.
Take me there.
71 in Nantucket. I think it's time for a trip out of the Cape. Looking beautiful out there. Looking a little bit stormy again across the middle part of the country. A couple of clusters of storms. A lot of times they get these big clusters here in July across parts of Minneapolis or Minnesota, the Dakotas into Iowa, and they kind of rumble their way through. You can see a couple of those working their way through tomorrow, and plenty of summertime heat out here as well, although not terrible, generally 70s and 80s.
Yeah, you got a nice northwest wind trying to come in. Still take low 80s out there in North Platte, 89 in Rapid City. We'll take you out to the southwest, and it's quiet, high pressure. Not enough, though, to where you're not going to see a couple showers there in eastern portion of Texas. Across the Gulf, other than that, you'll notice a couple of those developing as you go to Albuquerque, Santa Fe. Most of you, though, clear and hot. The name of the game. Yeah,
and thankfully there, notice west of Austin, which is where the worst of that flash flooding occurred, things are looking nice and quiet for those recovery efforts. There, we'll take you temperature-wise, it's hot. No big surprises here into the 90s, 114 in Phoenix, Las Vegas. Topping out at 109 tomorrow afternoon. Yeah,
I've been keeping a close eye on that Colorado forecast too.
Oh, I wonder why.
Yeah, warming up, getting ready for that vacation. It's clear as you go out to the west coast. You'll notice a couple of showers there across the Rockies. We're going to be looking at, once again, out west coast. No issues. A beautiful day on tap tomorrow. 73 in San Francisco with sunshine. Meanwhile, Sacramento, you okay?
Whew, 101. I'd rather be in San Francisco than there. Check out Palm Springs at 118 degrees
Take
Thursday.
me to Seattle.
Yeah, right?
That's what I want. 73 in Seattle, of course. We'll keep you posted as we transition into the weekend. But certainly, busy weather week. Good to see that. Overall, pretty quiet. Just warm for some areas on your coast to coast.
Yeah, we'll be back tomorrow with the latest updates on the flooding, the forecast details as we get set to head into another weekend that does certainly look a lot better than this previous weekend.
Yeah, we'll take whatever we can get at this point. We'll see you all tomorrow with a brand new episode of Whether or Not.